leaving CD Projekt Red, and indeed, as you'll soon find out,
about Cyberpunk 2077, and there were a couple people that were shocked, really surprised.
It was everywhere. On YouTube, on Reddit, in gaming forums. The trailer dropped like a nuclear bomb on the internet, and gamers lost their minds. It had the visuals of a blockbuster movie, the music of an emotional epic, and the kind of storytelling you'd expect from Hollywood, not a video game. But what it didn't have was a game that matched it. This trailer wasn't just overhyped. It was a masterpiece of misdirection, the kind that makes your jaw drop, your heart race, and then, months or even years later, makes you want your money back. We've seen hype before. Every gamer has lived through at least one betrayal, promises of open worlds that weren't open, dynamic choices that didn't matter, combat systems that felt clunky compared to what we saw in that glorious teaser. But one trailer outdid them all. Before we name names, we're going to walk through the art of the trailer hustle, the illusion that pulls millions in, and the harsh reality that follows. We'll relive the moments that fooled us, revisit the fan theories, the Reddit breakdowns, the endless countdown clocks, only to land in disappointment. And at the center of this whirlwind, a single trailer that redefined what it means to be overhyped. Stick around, because what you're about to see isn't just wild, it's gaming's biggest hype heist. Game trailers are like movie trailers on steroids. They're designed to sell you a dream, a vision of gameplay that's smoother, bigger, and more intense than anything you've ever played. And they work. But here's the catch. They're not always real. In the world of gaming, trailers are more than just advertisements. They're the spark that ignites pre-orders, gets the internet buzzing, and builds a fan base before a single frame of the game is even finished. Developers and publishers know this. They carefully construct these trailers to hit emotional chords, showcase features that may or may not exist, and tell stories that might not even be part of the final product. And it's not just about showing off the game, it's about how they show it. Most trailers aren't actual gameplay, they're CGI. Carefully scripted, motion captured, rendered scenes made months in advance to impress investors and players alike. Often, they're not even built from the game engine. That's where the line between hype and deception gets blurry. At gaming expos like E3, trailers become events. Fans watch live. Journalists analyze every frame. It's marketing theater. And the most legendary examples can make people cry, scream, and throw money at the screen before they've seen a single second of gameplay. But this isn't just the audience being gullible. It's the perfect storm. Polished trailers, hungry fans, and a PR machine that knows exactly what to say and what not to say. So when a trailer goes viral, the expectations skyrocket. And if the game can't match it, disaster. Before we name the single most overhyped trailer in gaming history, let's take a walk through the Hall of Shame. Trailers that blew minds and shattered hearts. These weren't just ads. These were carefully crafted illusions that had millions of gamers counting down the days, only to be greeted by frustration, refunds, and regret. First on the list, No Man's Sky. When the trailer dropped in 2014, it was magic.
Planets have wind patterns. Waves are dynamic.
Picture this: a spaceship blasting off from a vibrant alien planet, flying seamlessly into space, discovering creatures never seen before, and exploring an endless universe. That trailer didn't just show a game, it sold a dream. An infinite galaxy, true exploration, player freedom, multiplayer adventures, all procedurally generated. The promise felt too good to be true. And it was. When No Man's Sky launched in 2016, the backlash was immediate. Where were the lush alien ecosystems? Where was the promised multiplayer? Where were the deep mechanics teased in the trailer? Players found themselves in a repetitive grind, visiting nearly identical planets and encountering little meaningful variety. While Hello Games eventually turned things around with updates, the launch moment is forever remembered as one of gaming's biggest letdowns.
Hire a squadron to protect from attacks.
Next, we have Dead Island. If you were around in 2011, you remember it. A cinematic trailer showing a family on vacation, overrun by zombies. The footage ran in reverse with emotional music, stunning slow-motion scenes, and a tragic reveal. It wasn't just a trailer, it was a short film that went viral instantly. People expected a deep, emotional zombie survival game. But Dead Island? It was a hack-and-slash loot fest. No emotional depth, no cinematic storytelling, just crude humor, repetitive missions, and wooden characters. The contrast between trailer and game couldn't have been sharper. It's still one of the most misleading trailers ever made, and gamers never forgot that bait and switch. Then came Call of Duty: Infinite Warfare. This one is legendary for all the wrong reasons. The trailer released in 2016 with high-flying space combat, futuristic weapons, and over-the-top action. But fans were not having it. The comment section exploded. The YouTube dislike count soared into the millions. It quickly became one of the most disliked gaming videos ever. Why? Because fans were sick of futuristic COD. They wanted the franchise to return to its roots. Boots on the ground, gritty realism. Instead, the trailer gave them space marines, lasers, and robots. The disconnect between fan expectations and what was delivered turned the trailer into a meme overnight. And let's not forget Watch Dogs. In 2012, Ubisoft blew minds at E3. The Watch Dogs trailer looked like it came from the future. Real-time hacking, dynamic environments, incredible visuals, and gameplay that looked unlike anything we'd seen. But when the game released in 2014, the reality was different. The graphics were downgraded. The gameplay felt stiffer, more linear, less revolutionary. The term downgrade became a permanent part of the Ubisoft conversation. Fans accused the company of false advertising. While Watch Dogs wasn't a disaster, it never lived up to that breathtaking E3 trailer. Last but not least, The Division. Another Ubisoft game, another overpromise. The trailer showed players in a crumbling New York City post-pandemic, with smooth co-op play, tactical combat, and rich world detail. But the actual game suffered from bugs, grindy missions, and a less dynamic world. Again, the trailer set a bar the final game couldn't reach. All these trailers have one thing in common. They stirred up massive excitement with visuals, tone, or promises they couldn't deliver. Some recovered over time, others didn't.
Captain, we are the wolves.
But even with these legendary misfires, none of them claim the title of the most overhyped trailer ever. That one? It went further. Bigger deception, bigger backlash, and we're revealing it next. Okay, here it is. The big one. The trailer that promised everything, delivered almost nothing, and became the gold standard for gaming overhype. Cyberpunk 2077. Let's go back to June 2018. E3. Microsoft's stage. Lights dim, the screen flickers, and suddenly, bam! Cyberpunk 2077 blasts onto the screen with a jaw-dropping cinematic trailer. Neon cityscapes, flying cars, cyber-enhanced gangsters, a grimy, beautiful, violent future straight out of Blade Runner's dreams. Then came the moment that broke the internet. Keanu Reeves. "You're breathtaking" became a meme overnight. The hype exploded. CD Projekt Red, fresh off the critically adored Witcher 3, was untouchable. Fans believed this would be the game. The future of RPGs, the most immersive world ever made. Every trailer after that built the dream higher. Guns, choices, romance, customization, open-world freedom. It had it all. But here's the thing. Those trailers, mostly cinematic, carefully edited slices of idealized gameplay. Most scenes were either scripted or never actually made it into the final game. We saw insane car chases, deep dialogue systems, rich NPC interactions, and living, breathing city dynamics. None of that made it into the launch version. When Cyberpunk 2077 released in December 2020, it hit like a crash landing, especially on consoles. Glitches, game-breaking bugs, NPCs walking through walls, cars spawning from the sky, entire missions collapsing. And the biggest twist? Many of the features teased in the trailers were missing or massively scaled down. Players who expected true freedom found themselves in a barely functional shell of what was promised. The RPG elements were shallow. The AI was broken. The world felt empty. Even worse, CD Projekt Red had limited the pre-launch review access. Reviewers couldn't use their own footage, and console versions were hidden until the last second. That led to accusations of intentional deception. The backlash was swift and brutal. Refunds were issued en masse. Sony pulled the game from its store entirely. Lawsuits followed. The developer's stock price plummeted, and all of it started with those incredible trailers. To be clear, Cyberpunk 2077 eventually got better. With patches and updates, the game is far more stable and closer to its original vision today. But in 2020, it was a disaster. And the trailer, the thing that lit the match, became the perfect example of marketing gone too far. No other trailer sold such a massive fantasy, reached such viral levels of exposure, and led to such epic fallout. That's why, hands down, Cyberpunk 2077 holds the crown for the most overhyped trailer in gaming history. Let's break it down. Why was the gap between the Cyberpunk 2077 trailer and the actual game so massive? It comes down to one thing: trust, shattered by misdirection on an industrial scale.
The only limit to what you can do.
The trailers promised a sprawling, reactive world. You'd play as V, a cyber mercenary in a neon-soaked dystopia, where everything could be hacked, conversations had weight, and your choices truly mattered. In those slick preview clips, NPCs reacted to your presence like living beings. Dialogue trees branched into massive consequences. The city pulsed with energy, layers upon layers of activity. But when players finally got their hands on the game, that city, Night City, was gorgeous, until you looked closer. NPCs didn't respond. The police would spawn right behind you out of nowhere. Pedestrians walked into walls or vanished entirely. The world looked alive, but it didn't act alive. Features like wall running, dynamic vehicle customization, deep romance arcs, hyped in developer interviews and trailers, were cut completely. Entire systems shown off in previews never made it into the game. Even the gameplay footage used in marketing turned out to be target renders, a fancy way of saying they weren't real gameplay. They were concepts, visual guides of what the team hoped to make. But when development lagged behind schedule, those features were quietly dropped. The trailers? They stayed. For example, in one early video, V walks into a bar where the bartender responds dynamically to your background, choices, and mood. In the real game, you walk in, press a button, and get a canned response. The same happened with enemy AI, promised to be intelligent and strategic, but in launch day Cyberpunk, enemies often just stood still, waiting to be shot. The contrast between what was shown and what was delivered was staggering. And let's not forget the performance. On PC, if you had a high-end rig, the game sort of held together. But on base PlayStation 4 and Xbox One systems, it was borderline unplayable. Frame drops, crashes, characters loading without faces, vehicles disappearing mid-chase. It looked and felt like a beta, not a finished product. But even beyond the bugs, the game just didn't deliver on its revolutionary promises. Customization was shallow. Story branches were limited. The city, while beautiful, felt like a painted backdrop rather than a living place. This gap between trailer and reality wasn't just disappointing, it was unprecedented. Never had a AAA studio sold a vision so far removed from the truth. And the trailers were the core of that deception. The result? A complete collapse of trust. CD Projekt Red went from industry darling to cautionary tale. When Cyberpunk 2077 launched and the truth came out, the gaming world exploded. Social media turned into a war zone overnight. Hashtags like Cyberbug 2077 and Refund Cyberpunk started trending within hours. Streams and YouTube videos documenting the game's broken mechanics went viral. Cars flying into the sky, NPCs T-posing in the streets, missions glitching out completely. What was supposed to be the future of gaming became the internet's biggest joke. CD Projekt Red, once seen as the good guys of the industry, found themselves in the crosshairs. The company issued public apologies, promised fixes, and scrambled to control the damage. But it wasn't enough. The backlash was fierce, and it came from every direction. Players were furious. Many demanded and received refunds, especially on consoles where the game was borderline unplayable. Sony took the unprecedented step of pulling the game from the PlayStation Store, a move that shocked the entire industry. Microsoft added warning labels on its storefront. Major retailers started offering no-questions-asked returns. Critics were also harsh. Reviews were split. Some focused on the game's potential, others slammed its broken state. But one thing was clear: the version reviewers had seen pre-release was not the one everyone else got. CD Projekt Red had only provided PC review codes and restricted what footage could be shown. The deception felt intentional. The financial damage, massive. Within a week of launch, CD Projekt Red's stock dropped by over 40%. Lawsuits followed, including one from investors who claimed the company had misled them. Internally, reports surfaced of overworked developers, missed deadlines, and a management team that pushed the game out before it was ready, just to hit the holiday window. Reputation-wise, CDPR's fall from grace was brutal. This was the studio that gave us The Witcher 3, a game many considered the best RPG ever made. Fans had believed in them. That trust? Shattered. And through all of it, those flashy, incredible trailers remained online, permanent reminders of the promises that weren't kept. They weren't just misleading, they were central to the entire marketing strategy. The hype wasn't accidental, it was engineered. In the end, Cyberpunk 2077 became more than just a botched launch. It became a symbol, a warning, proof that no matter how polished a trailer looks, it doesn't always tell the whole story. The fallout from Cyberpunk 2077 didn't just affect CD Projekt Red, it sent shockwaves through the entire gaming industry. Publishers, developers, platforms, and even players had to reckon with one hard truth. Trailers can lie, and trust is not infinite. For years, flashy trailers had been the norm. Games like Anthem, Aliens, Colonial Marines, and Watch Dogs had already taken flack for not living up to their marketing. But Cyberpunk 2077 was different. Its trailer wasn't just ambitious, it was a promise wrapped in Hollywood-level presentation. When it all unraveled, it forced the industry to ask, how far is too far? Some platforms responded quickly. Sony's decision to remove the game from its digital store sent a clear message: quality matters, and customers come first. Microsoft followed with warning labels and extended refund policies. These moves weren't just about one game, they were about setting a precedent. Developers also started shifting their marketing strategies. More studios began showing real-time gameplay earlier in the development cycle. The era of the heavily scripted, CGI-only trailer started to fade. Fans became more skeptical, demanding transparency, side-by-side gameplay comparisons, and performance metrics. At gaming expos like E3 and Gamescom, audiences began asking tougher questions. Is this real gameplay? Will it run like this on my console? What's cut content versus shipped content? The bar had been raised, not just for graphics, but for honesty. Even reviewers changed their practices. After the Cyberpunk debacle, many refused to review games that didn't offer console versions or limited footage. They pushed back against embargoes that restricted transparency. And for gamers, the lesson stuck. Pre-order numbers began to dip across the board. More players started waiting for reviews, checking gameplay footage, or holding out for post-launch patches. Wait for the Day 1 patch became more than a joke. It was survival advice. The hype machine wasn't broken, but it had definitely taken a hit. And at the center of it all? One trailer, one game, One explosion that forced an entire industry to take a hard look in the mirror. So, what did we learn from the Cyberpunk 2077 trailer disaster? Beyond the memes, refunds, and headlines, this entire saga left behind some important lessons for players, developers, and the entire industry. If a trailer doesn't clearly say captured in-game, be cautious. Beautiful CGI and slick editing might get you hyped, but they rarely represent how the game will actually play. It's entertainment, marketing first, reality second. Gamers groan at delays, but they often mean the difference between a broken launch and a polished experience. Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed multiple times and still came out too early. In hindsight, another year of development might have saved its reputation. Pre-orders feed hype. They reward marketing, not actual quality. The industry thrives on those early sales, but they remove your power as a customer. Waiting for reviews, real gameplay, or performance reports helps keep studios accountable. Developers who are honest about what's real and what's not, those who show raw gameplay, address limitations, and communicate clearly, earn long-term respect. Hype is good, but truth builds loyalty. CD Projekt Red was once a beloved developer. After Cyberpunk, that goodwill was damaged overnight. It's a reminder that one bad launch, especially when built on misleading trailers, can erase years of fan trust. In short, hype sells, but honesty sustains. In the end, Cyberpunk 2077 wasn't just a game, it was a moment, a lesson, a cautionary tale carved into gaming history. Its trailer wasn't just overhyped, it became the blueprint for what not to do. We all love the excitement of a killer trailer, but next time one drops with cinematic perfection and promises the world, maybe, just maybe, we'll ask the hard questions first. And hey, if you made it this far, smash that like button, drop a comment with the trailer that fooled you the most, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got more stories coming that you won't believe.